at 8 a.m. Eastern to talk all things Warriors, Klay Thompson, the draft, which he was front and center on last night. So here's the deal. Joe Judge gets into some sort of altercation with Marc Colombo. That name might sound familiar. Former NFL player, first-round draft pick of the Bears. Played in the division in the NFC East for the Cowboys for quite some time.
Not the investigator Colombo?
No, not the investigator Colombo. One last thing. Okay, you have to be way too old to get that. Only Key and I get that one. Peter Falk, who was Colombo, used to go out there, investigate, talk to a criminal. The criminal thinks he's going to get away with it. And then Peter Falk walks away. And then all the brain synapses start firing. He turns around and his money line would be, just one more thing.
Well, just one more thing.
Okay, so now for anybody that's not living in ancient times, back to 2020, but Colombo, old school shout out. Okay, just one more thing on Marc Colombo. Okay, so he was with the Cowboys, he retired, and then he became their assistant offensive line coach. Now he's with the Giants.
Yes.
Gets into a spat, verbal. The Giants went out of their way to say it was not physical with Joe Judge. They went out of their way.
I was wondering if it was physical or not, because I would think, I played with Colombo at Dallas. I'm like, Colombo would have slapped up Judge. So I wanted to confirm that wasn't the case.
Rottweiler fight at your Wawa me either, but I know it ain't pretty.
So let me give you the quick end of the story and Key, get your thoughts on it. Essentially, he's gone.
Yes.
Let's say Joe Judge is maybe gently asking him to maybe we'll provide you with some help. We're going to bring somebody over from the Pats that I like. We're obviously struggling. We've got to protect Daniel Jones. He's been a little more clean the last couple games. But they get into some sort of, let's just call it, altercation. Joe Judge has been on the job for 10 games, but you think this is channeling a guy that once coached the Giants for 127 games and won a couple Lombardis.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a page taken out of a Bill Parcells book. It's very difficult to fire an offensive line coach in the middle of the year. Offensive line coach, because the protections, the scheme, all the different things, the techniques that Colombo has taught the offensive line. Now you have somebody else coming in that you have a relationship with. I understand. I get that, because he probably didn't want to hire Colombo to begin with. But when you are a new head coach that has never done it before, that's young, it's very difficult to build your entire staff on your own. 5 years from now, he can pick and choose whoever he wants. Mm-hmm. But coming into it, it's kind of like, we're going to help you along the way. We're going to bring in Jason Garrett, former head coach, so you can kind of learn how to be a head coach. But he's also going to call the plays for you. Oh, by the way, he also wants to fill out the offensive side of the staff. So you have to give something away a little bit until such due time that you get a little bit of skins on the wall, and you can go to the owners and now start to say, look, I need to do it my way. Mm-hmm. So he goes in it, he talks, he says to them, I want to bring somebody along to help. You go to Marc Colombo and ask Marc Colombo. You go to him and you say, hey, I got an idea that'll make us better. And whatever the conversation ended up, he didn't like it, because now it feels like you're saying I'm not doing my job. That's what it feels like. So whatever the words we exchange, in the end, Joe Judge has the right to say, you know what, man? I don't want you anywhere. Get out of here. Go. Bye-bye. See you later. To get it over with. But it's also sending a message to the rest of the team, the rest of the coaching staff, and to the fan base that I'm not putting up with any nonsense. I'm going to go down in flames if I'm going to go down. I'm going to do it the way that I want to. The problem with that is, it's cool right now, and you're playing great, and you're doing it. The tougher you are, the more people are going to expect for you to put those W's on the board. You can get away with it for a couple years, but if you don't start winning at a high rate, mm-hmm. it falls on deaf ears. It just really does. Take a look at everybody that's ever coached before. When that message gets stale, it's like, man, get somebody else in here.
Well, that's why most coaches got a life expectancy about 10 years, because what happens, you've heard all their stories. But right now you got to understand that Joe Judge is in the newlywed phase, right? And right now, everybody in that building is watching to see if he about that smoke, right? Seeing that if his words and his actions match. We saw his words and his actions match. Remember when he had him running gassers, and guys like, what are we doing? We don't do that. This is not college. This ain't New England, right? So everybody's testing him, right? Everybody's, borderline habitual line steppers. You got guys that's going to try and see what they can get away with. We saw Golden Tate try and be a habitual line stepper, the other week. Oh, you know what? You suspended. You know what I'm saying? You got to go home. See you later. What did he do? He came back and he apologized. So really what's happening is he wanted to have the people like when you're a first-time head coach, you want to have guys that that's in that foxhole with you, not guys that are trying to undermine you and trying to be a head coach for themselves. So you got Colombo sitting there. He's a foreigner, right? He's a foreigner, but you're trusting him to be on your squad. He's Jason Garrett's guy. He's not my guy. So what did he do? He said, all right, I'll take the staff in which you guys want to help me to have because you want to borderline babysit me by going out and getting me a former head coach to make sure that I can have a smooth transition so that I can, bring in. So you give me some players that I can get, right? So I can go get Deion Lewis because I have a history with him. He's going to sing my praises. He's going to be we used to call him CIA inside of the locker room.
Just go ahead and say it, man. Snitch.
Yeah, CIA. Yeah, so he's the informant, right? So you bring in players. I mean, listen, when I came over, I was the guy for Rex. Not that I was going up snitching to Rex, but I was the guy that was I was the guy that was in there. Me, Jim Leonard, Marquise Douglas. You think about
I gotta watch you now,
Trevor Price, right? I was the guy that was saying, listen, guys, this is how we do it. And trust me, the dude got a plan. You can trust him, right? Because nobody trusts him because he's a first-time head coach. He's a special team coach at that, so he doesn't come in with the same gravitas or the same respect that a guy that had already been a head coach somewhere else did before. So Colombo want to get out of pocket because now you trying to micromanage me and bring one of your guys in from New England. I think his name is Dave Guillermo or something like that, right? So
sure.
He knows. So now you're gonna bring somebody in here that you're trying to replace me. So now I got an issue with that. But the problem is your resume may be good, Colombo, but it ain't good here and it ain't good with me because guess what? Thomas, who was supposed to be like the best pick, right? We picked him and we passed on Becton. We passed on all these dudes, right? And now we looking at they're underperforming.
Bart, we trying to go to commercial break.
Man, well, you sucked all the air out the mic and now you left me 2 seconds.
Are you out of your mind, man? They got a clock.
Keyshawn,
the man been screaming go to break for the last 40 seconds.
Straight up. Oh, my turn my treble up. I can't hear you.
This is not Bart and Han. When the man said go to break, go to break.
Can we add with Bart Scott? Maybe later coming.
Smaller font. We got to put it in smaller.
Dude, you got to tell me to be quiet, man. I can't hear you.
Jeez.
All good. You're right, though. Andrew Thomas, the number 4 overall pick, the offensive tackle from Georgia, has really struggled, and that could be part of the move for sure. Straight talk, wireless, no contract, no compromise. We'll get the technical crew here with Bart here during the commercial break to get it all squared away.
It ain't me.
I think he pulled it out so he didn't have to.
America, it ain't me. America, it ain't me.
On the way, the biggest game in the very short NFL history of one city, and the home team